Hey, how are you? Listen, how can I start this without my hand claps? All right. Oh, simmer down, everybody. Okay, enough of the hand claps. I want to welcome you to another edition of Wow People with me, your host, Kelli Sae. And before I bring on tonight's special guest, I just briefly want to talk about the guest we had last, which was Jay Swiss, who is amazing. By the way, if you're not familiar with him, you should definitely check out his works because it's quite spectacular. But tonight, okay, we don't have a slouch at all. We have one of the wonderful, one of the greatest musicians that I know. I want to bring in our special guest, Mr. Gene Lake. Hey!
Hey, Kelly.
I gotta have the hand claps for you too.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, plug it up.
I have to have the claps because I worked hard recording those. So thank
All right.
you. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for being here with us tonight.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've had so much admiration for your career over the years, and I still do. And I think you're one of the most phenomenal musicians that we have, of our time. And so having you on here is just a really great treat for me. But I know, I don't know you personally. I'm starting to get to know you, but over the years I followed your career, and now this has brought me to following you even more. Tell everybody more about you and where you come from and everything.
Wow. Well, I've been drumming for, pretty much. I kind of got serious in high school. That's umpteen years back, uh, and was pretty much into funk and soul, music of my generation. And then from there in high school, I got into more jazzy stuff, taking out people like Weather Report and
Mm.
Miles, and then that led me into other things. Uh, And then from there, went to Berkeley, studied there, then came to New York, jumped on the music scene and worked with people like Henry Threadgill. My father, Oliver Lake, is a sax player. Actually, both those guys are sax players, alto sax players. And then I worked with Surface, which is an R&B group.
I know who
And
Surface is.
okay, there you go. And then cool. And then I work with, probably most known for, working with Michelle Ndegeocello
Hmm.
and David Sanborn. And with a lot of mixture of artists in between that, Dave Douglas, trumpet player, a lot of side gigs along the way, a lot of different projects, obviously working with Steve Coleman, who had 3 different projects within working with Steve Coleman. He had a rap project, somewhat of a big orchestra project. It was very eclectic, a lot of international musicians, and then they had 5 Elements, so I was doing that.
Mm.
And so my mentality, as you see, that was very an eclectic, list of musicians. And so my mentality pretty much as a musician coming up, out of school was to be able to, to do all those things, to be able to
Hmm.
play,
Hmm.
a wide range of music. So, and
Which one do you
adopted.
enjoy the most?
You say, which one do I enjoy the most?
Yeah, if any.
I was just about to qualify. Let me turn this off. This phone is making noise. I was just about to qualify what I was saying, which is there we go. Which is something I got from my father. I mean, there's only 2 kinds of musics, right? Good and bad. So in terms of enjoying it, you say enjoy the most. I would say I'm discovering more lately. I'm more of a jazz guy that likes to do funk. You know.
Mm. Hmm. Hmm.
you know. So that's really where I'm coming from, and that's more of what I like to do.
Right. When I looked through your
Yeah,
resume, I saw that you had also worked with Maxwell
that's
and
right.
with DAngelo. Do you have any like crazy stories to tell about that experience?
No, no. Well, yeah, I played on D'Angelo's first record, and I may have played on a couple tunes, and they only wind up using 1 or 2 of them actually. And there's really no crazy story. The only story I have is I was living in Fort Greene, Brooklyn at the time. This was the early 90s. And DAngelo called my house. That was about as crazy as it gets, So we rapped for a minute. I mean, of course, he wasn't DAngelo at that point. I mean, we spoke and talked about music, and he described to me briefly what he was trying to do and where he was going. And we went in the studio with Bob Powers at the time. He was also one of the engineers and producers, if I'm not mistaken. And we went in and cut some tunes. That was it. With Maxwell, he and I kind of hit it off a little bit more. We were in the studio, we vibed a little bit, and that was a connection that came about from working with Michelle and Melvin Wawa Reagan, who's since passed, a guitar player, the famous Wawa Watson, was the one that brought me in on that project. But Wawa was working with Michelle, so that's how that all happened. Of course, great musicians, great music, great fun to be a part of both those projects. It was a lot of excitement in the air at that period. Michelle was we're talking about, mid-90s. So Michelle was putting a record out, and then this is 94. So, and then Maxwell had cut his record and DAngelo as well. Anyway, so I'll leave it there. I'll stop right there.
Well, I mean, I would have thought also you guys would have bonded over that great head of hair you had at the time.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I didn't have a lot of hair. Maxwell was, I could use some now, but anyway, that's a different story.
I have those photos of you with a lot of hair. I remember that time. Yeah. That's amazing. And so and also another one of my favorite bands that you work with, is the Screaming Headless Torsos.
I was just about to mention them.
I'm a huge fan of Dave. Yeah. I know Dave from way back when we used to sing. Well, when I used to sing in a band that he was in, which was the Rise Robots Rise band. I don't know if you remember.
Okay. No, I don't.
But that's how we met, And
okay.
And we stayed connected. And then, of course, through the years, we sort of just lost touch a little bit. You start diving into your career, and he's diving into his, and then you just kind of just split a little bit. But yeah,
right.
What was that like?
Well, so we're talking about David Fuzzinski, right? Guitar player who currently is teaching at Berkeley, Boston music, College of Music, rather. Yeah, Dave and I met. He was going to the conservatory at the time, and I was at Berkeley. So that's how he and I had met initially. Of course, when we got to come down to New York City, late '80s, early '90s, we reconnected. I was subbing for Jojo Mayer.
Yeah, I know him.
Meyer at the time, another drummer, great drummer. And that's how I reconnected with David and connected with playing with the Torsos. Of course, that anyone familiar with that music, it's like it was his own genre, right? It's really, really eclectic. You could go from from thrash to reggae to jazz all inside of one tune, So yeah, it was. So as for a drummer, it was real fun because you're all over the place. We're really all over the place. So it was really cool to be a part of that. And no, that was what was happening then, And actually, the little sidebar here. David Fuzzinski was one of the guitar players that had recommended me to play with Michelle because they were both a part of the Black Rock Coalition, which I'm sure you remember at the time. I mean, this was sort of, gained some traction from the
I was a part of it too. So I know.
Okay, there you go.
I was in a band that was I auditioned to be in this band, and it just so happened that they were in part of the Black Rock Coalition. And then I stayed in that band for many, many years. And that's how I met Michelle, and that's how I met so many, and Dave. And I really, I have to give it a lot of credit for me meeting like people like Joseph Bowie and me being a part of the Defunct and all that. It was just that whole thing brought me into a new fold. So yeah.
Yeah. There you go. And speaking of Joe Bowie, I don't know if you know, coming from St. Louis, he was a part of a group that my father had. I don't remember the title of the group. But that's how I know Joe Bowie come from St. Louis, you know what I mean? And of course, starting Defunct here in New York, I guess in the late 70s, that was always a lot of excitement for me to check that band. I mean, I was young at the time, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to put that out there. Shout out to Joe Bowie. So
Oh, definitely. And I give him a lot of credit too for helping me kind of shape my persona on stage, because I up until that point I had some experience, but nothing like working with him, who just allowed me to just be a complete free crazy spirit. And so
high
one
energy, high energy. He's always talking about high energy.
yeah, and he was a wild man and I was a wild woman, and I actually dislocated my knee during one of our performances in Estonia. And
Mm,
I used to, I don't know, I don't dress like this anymore, but I used to dress so crazy with these little tiny hot pants on and like ridiculous, like kind of P-funkus shoes, really
mm.
stacked. And then, these festivals, sometimes it's kind of not always the best stage and like the foundation of it. And I was just like jumping around, and I guess it gave way and my knee popped out and then I collapsed. And then Joe's jumping around and he looks at me on the ground. He's like, "Get up!" He's screaming at me to get up, and I was like, "I can't,"
Oh boy.
I know. And then some stagehands come, and we laughed it off later, but it's so funny because he was wondering why I wasn't singing something, why I'm still laying on the ground. It's like, like, why is she laying down there? She should be singing. Yeah, but I was laying across the thing, but it's crazy.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway,
Joe.
yeah.
That's yeah.
I give him a
Going
lot of
back.
credit though. A lot of credit though for just kind of, just allowing me to be like my crazy self and not try to like reel me in or anything like that. It was amazing. So, but anyway, go on.
Cool,
I'm sorry.
cool. No. That was all I had to say. I'm good beyond that. No,
Well,
that's all I had to say. So yeah,
but
no, that was
you know what though? I do want to get into playing something from you. I want to play your Sunburst tune because I want people to just get a listen to you if they haven't heard of you. So let's do that. Okay.
cool.
my God. I
Oh,
didn't want it
cool.
to end. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. So that was a tune called Sunburst on the latest release of mine that I titled The Kingdom Within. I just want to just mention who was on the tune there. So the bass solo first, that was Brad Jones on bass,
Mm,
Federico Gonzalez Pena on keyboards, and the guitar that was David Gilmour, which I'm sure you know. You know,
I do. Who I was gonna
yeah,
say, it sounds pretty amazing.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
amazing. And where can people get that?
Amazon, iTunes, Bandcamp. I actually have
Mhm.
a link on my Instagram, which is Gene Lake 2
I have it. I have
Instagram.
it
Yeah,
right here, ready for you. I will not let you down. There you
there you go.
go.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, yep. So got that going. You know what? Just briefly, I want to mention this because I was telling you earlier that I have a release of the latest CD with a young sax player, great sax player out of Germany, whose name is Jan Prox. He's an
Mm,
alto player, and we just released this on Double Moon Records. It's called Head to the Sky. So look for this. We're getting ready to. I'm going to start promoting this and putting it on my social media.
hmm
But this just came out. We're just putting this out. So I just want to put this out here so people see what that is.
And what
And
style is that? What is that like? What can we
this
expect
is
here?
this is it's more funk fusion, you know, groove music, instrumental groove music. Uh,
Mm,
Best way I
hmm
could describe it. You know,
hmm
there's some solos. I'll mention who's on it. A lot of guys are on this record with me who are played with Dave Sanborn. So I got Nick Morrock on guitar, um, um, Ricky Peterson on keyboards, had
hmm
Federico Gonzalez Pena on keys as well. He actually some additional production. I have a lot of guys that I work with here on the local scene here in New York and New Jersey playing guitar, like Mark Bowers and Kelton Cooper on guitar. So it's just a mix of musicians, but this is mostly a lot of musicians. And yeah, I work with Dave Sanborn. So
hmm
um, yeah, no, hopefully looking for some good things to come from this and possibly tour on it. So we'll see. You know.
Definitely. And I know Federico too.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's been a long time. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
way back in the day, I remember
yeah.
to see me he used to try to pick me up, like physically lift me off the ground.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I think I sent you a YouTube link to the album. So if you get a chance, just definitely check it out.
I hope
You know,
so. But I
yeah.
also, before we even end this, I want to talk about another project that you're doing with another favorite vocalist of mine with Freedom.
Uh-huh.
So I
Uh-huh.
really, I'm ecstatic waiting for this to, like touch the surface of the of the music world.
Well, yeah, I want to say something without giving too much away. Freedom and I met working with the Screaming Headless Torsos. Just
Okay.
so people who are listening, if you're aware, my work with the Screaming Headless Torsos, and you're aware of Freedom Brimner, great singer. He and I are working on a new project that's well, I'll just say what it is. It's more groove oriented, more pop, and we'll leave it at that. So look for that. Somebody just the Morris. How do you say his name?
Morris
Montgomery.
Montgomery, who's
Montgomery just
yeah.
yeah, he just posted here about David Gilmour. No, it's not David Gilmour from Pink Floyd. It's a different David Gilmour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love Morris.
yeah.
I want to take the time out to just thank everybody for chiming in and hanging out with us on these Tuesdays. Morris is a regular, and I'm really grateful for his presence and for Richard and everybody else who tunes in after as well. I know that they could be doing loads of other things on their Tuesday, evening, but they're hanging here with us. And if you happen to watch this after the fact, thank you for streaming it after too. That's really amazing. So thank you so much. Mhm.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but wait, with the screaming headless torsos, I thought at one point there was Dean Bowman singing, right? At one point.
Oh yeah. The Demon was there. Dean was there originally.
Demon.
I know, right? Yeah, yeah. Dean Bowman. There we go. He was there originally. So, well, no, it wasn't. Actually, there was another singer. I can't say originally. There was another singer before him in that band, but he
Hmm,
is probably the most known, notable singer with that band because he cut the records and so forth.
right.
Although Freedom did too much later. So
Right. Oh
yeah,
wow. Yeah. I haven't I don't know where Dean is right now. I wish I knew. Do you know where he is now? I
I
wonder.
don't.
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't.
know
He
either.
could be in New York, could be in Europe.
Oh
Last
yeah,
I heard, he was in Denver, so I don't know. You
Denver,
know,
Europe. I'm kidding.
Denver. Yeah,
So
yeah,
but now just back to your famous father, who's an incredible musician also. Do you think you're gonna do more recordings with him?
no, I can't say that'll probably be. You never know though. But as of right now, there's nothing
Hmm.
planned, so we'll see. We'll
Hmm.
see. Could be. Let
Yeah.
that be a surprise if that does happen. So
Yeah, so that could be two surprises. Well, I mean, I want people to know like about your project. The one you just had, you just wrote it down. It was called, can you put it up again? That one.
yes.
Yes,
So
this.
this is with. Let me get this in the camera properly. So this is with Jan Prox and Gene Lake. It's titled "Head to the Sky."
Mm-hmm.
I think there we go. I think I got it
Mm-hmm.
now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And to
That's the
follow you
latest
on
one.
your IG and
Yeah.
your sunburst record, the sunburst one. What year
Yeah.
did it come out?
I think it was 2018, if I'm not
18.
mistaken.
Okay.
And that was on my father's label. Gosh, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. Passing Through Records.
Mm.
Um, yeah, that's what he titled it. Yeah, Passing Through Records. Yeah, so that track with me in the video is called Sunburst, and it's on a record called The Kingdom Within on Passing Through Records. And you actually said, well, you showed the link already on my Instagram link because I have a link there to Bandcamp. So
Oh,
to
great.
that,
That is
yeah,
great. That is
yeah,
great. And I'm hoping that you and I we talked, oh, away from the public about trying to do something together in the future. And I'm really hoping we get to do that one day in our lives. So that'd be great.
yeah. We got to reach out. I guess once you come back from where you are, I won't disclose where you are.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Also, now when I was reading your bio, I know that you are from St. Louis and I know you moved to New York at 14. Do you think that you'll ever go back to live in St. Louis, or do you think you'll just stay in New York forevermore?
I'm thinking I'm here on the East Coast. Yeah, I don't foresee going back to St. Louis. Nothing against St. Louis, love St. Louis, but just just in terms of the industry and working, and all of my connections are here, and friends and family, and for the most part, everyone's here. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, so more than likely, out of all likelihood, I would probably stay on the East Coast. Yeah.
Right. And what do you think though, of the music scene now? I know, just with COVID coming in, I know things changed in that time period, but even prior to that, what was your feeling about, just the New York scene and just the whole industry as a whole, how things are kind of morphing into another way of being?
Well, it's different. I mean, initially when COVID kicked off, of course, you had to assess and see, where things could go. Of course, going online and having more of an online presence was the initial thought, which is why you saw me posting a lot. If you, looked at my Facebook for videos or Instagram or my YouTube, that's pretty much what I was doing. But I will say this: in this month of October, well, since September and October here, 2021, it's been, the work has somewhat increased. I've, been blessed to be able to work, you know, I've been working with people like Oz Noy, a guitar player. Uh, Shout out to Josh Smith. He's more of a blues jazz guitar. I did some stuff with Adam Rogers, another great guitar player.
Yeah.
Been playing with guitar players, and I work with all three of them within that inside of this month. So, and
Mm,
things seems like people have started touring again. Some name artists have started touring, right?
hmm.
So I'm optimistic. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll ever be the same. I don't think that's coming back. We're definitely in a new normal, but I'm
Yeah.
optimistic. I mean, you see people touring and you see people doing things, and so there's
Yeah.
hope. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Any wise words for up and coming musicians, producers, drummers? You have a lot of, like a wealth of knowledge and experience. Any words?
Wow, I would just say stay true. Always speak the truth on your instrument. You
Mm,
know, and that'll definitely you. Well, I can't say this is mine. I think I might have heard Branford Marcellus say this. What comes from the heart goes to the heart, and I always
ooh,
like that. Right?
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
I might have to like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, when
Repeat
we
that.
what comes from the heart goes to the heart, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
when we got something for real to say, something that's truthful, something that's coming from within, usually you'll find your audience. People will start to connect and relate, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so
Wow.
I'll leave it right there.
Well,
Hopefully that touched you.
it did. It touched me, and it's
There you go.
and it really struck a chord within me too, because I'm as a songwriter, I'm always trying to come from the most organic, honest place,
There you
and
go.
digging and digging in to just dig in there, and sometimes it's a challenge for sure. You're trying to maybe that's so funny. My guest 2 weeks ago, I don't know if you know him, Jay Swiss. We were just talking about how important it is to read, because when you're a songwriter, it's just having that vocabulary. There's a way that you could tell the same story again and again and again, but it's how you tell that story. And if you don't have maybe the right verbiage or a different, wide enough vocabulary, it's just, so it's just really interesting to try to dig in there and just tell those stories without sounding redundant or without sounding trite, even though sometimes maybe that's my objective. I was trying to sound trite. I was trying, that was my,
Right.
sometimes that's not what I'm going for. So,
Mhm.
it's so what you just said really did hit home with me. And thank
Cool.
you for that. And thank you
Yeah.
for being here tonight.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. Definitely.
Yes. And so
Yeah.
again, everybody, just so you know, you can follow him on his IG at Gene Lake 2 on Instagram and on Facebook too. You're Gene Lake, right? On there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I'm Oliver Gene Lake on YouTube, which I
Oh,
might have to change that. Yeah. So if you do
okay.
like, www.youtube.com/Oliver Gene Lake, you'll get my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great. And I'll follow your channel. I had to start a whole new channel because something happened with my old channel. And now I'm starting from the beginning, and it's kind of frustrating. I had so many videos up, and now I'm starting all over again. And it's a little of a pain, but it's cool. It's fine.
Cool.
It's
Cool. There you
as if
go.
I don't have enough to do. It's great.
Hmm.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
All
I'm
right.
going to say thank you so much again, and let's stay in touch.
Yes.
Now we're
Yes.
connected, and thanks
There you
everybody
go.
for chiming in and being here again with us tonight. My guest is Gene Lake, and he's an incredible musician. And we're not going to have a show for the next couple of weeks, guys, because I'm still doing Dancing with the Stars, and that in between that, I'm making a couple of trips to Europe, performing over there, and that's just gonna create more havoc. So I'll be back hopefully in a couple of weeks with some more wonderful episodes of Wow People with Kelli Sae. So everybody say goodnight, and thank you again, Gene.
All right. Thank you, Kelly. All right.
Okay, bye.
Uh-huh. Bye-bye.